Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. It's story time. I'm gonna be sharing a story about my pregnancy. Where to start? Well, I'm gonna go my senior year, the beginning of my senior year in high school. I was in a foster home, and the people I was living with, sorry about that, I need to charge my phone. Anyways, the people I was living with wasn't the healthiest for me, and they did not want me to be with my significant other, and I had been dating him already like like 2 years, and they didn't want me to be with him or talk to him or have anything to do with him, and they just weren't very good for me. So I ultimately ended up leaving, and when I left, I was still going to school. And to bring it up to you, the school I was going to was a treatment center for kids who had like disorders of some sort, like bipolar, depression, or just acted out, or just needed support in general with their academics, and like learning disabilities or social anxiety that causes them to not able to function in a mainstream school. And I was one of them. So I was going there, and it was my senior year. I was working. I was trying to get a job when I was living in my foster home, but they weren't supporting me in that way, and I was so stressed out. So when I moved out with my significant other, I ended up getting a job right away. And I was working there. As soon as I got out of the home, I was working at a local grocery store. I was 18, going to work part-time and being in school and getting good grades, by the way. I was getting A's, some B's. Mainly, I was looking for A's. I was working hard, coming home, taking care of my house, and cooking for my guy, because I love him, and he was working hard at the time, and then he would take care of me, and I ended up after a few months of staying with him, I got pregnant. We were trying to get pregnant. I remember I wanted to get pregnant because I remember we both wanted a baby. We did. We both wanted a family together with each other. To bring up to you, like a year previous to that, I had a miscarriage with him, and what could have been, but there's reasons why things happen for a reason, I believe. The universe, things just happen for a reason, I believe. Though it doesn't always make sense to the heart or soul, sometimes it's meant to happen, I believe. And it happened. And what can you do? You learn to accept it and move on. And I got pregnant. And this pregnancy of mine, I was I was like, I had to quit my job. First off, let me go there. I had to quit my job. I got so physically sick while I was pregnant, and I had to focus on school. I remember I have to graduate and get my high school diploma. That's very important to me. Education is very important to me. I was in and out of the hospital room, emergency room. It was hard. while maintaining good grades in school. But to remind you that I was in that treatment program, it was in a classroom, and they were very functional with me. They were very supportive emotionally and physically. They would give me the work that I needed to do, which the work I needed to do, by the way, I worked hard in high school. I got all my general requirements out of the way and everything I needed. All I needed to take was my senior year requirements. It was economics and I think it was history. I want to say history. I know it's economics, but I want to say history. That's all I had to do. And it was, I'm so grateful. It was like it was meant to happen. Because that's all I had to take. It was just a requirement. I had everything else out of the way. I was ahead on my credits as well, but I just had to do the general ed requirements. So while I was doing the work that my teacher was giving me, making, I was in the hospital bed, in my bed, throwing up, sicker than I couldn't walk. I could barely stand up, and if I did stand up, I would throw up. I couldn't hold down water. I couldn't hold down anything, not even my stomach acid. While doing my homework. Sorry, it's very emotional for me because it took everything out of me, not just physically, but I believe on emotional and like spiritual. It took all that energy out of me. I put in everything and I worked hard. Being in the hospital and in and out, trying to go to school and show up to school, I was so determined. Let me tell you something. I graduated with my class. Pregnant. I was wearing my cap, my gown, with my belly in those little chairs like this, and it was so uncomfortable. I remember, I was like, constantly moving, and then, goodness, it was hard. I remember, I was like, oh no, and I ended up getting sunburned that morning because it was practice, and I was so proud. You know what's for me? I was so proud that I graduated, and I was so sick. And when I graduated, after my graduation, I drove my grandmother and my sister home, or Tony did, and at the time it was the crappy car. We didn't drive the Mustang because my grandmother's wheelchair couldn't fit in the back, and we drove her home. And I was like, I had my feet on the dashboard. I was like, oh, they're ready for the shoes. And I went and laid to rest. I was so glad I got that over with. I was so sick. And then the rest, that was in June of 2016. And after that, I just focused on my pregnancy and my health. And after I accomplished that goal, I was able to focus more on me, and it was like a burden off my chest and shoulders. I was taking Zofran. I couldn't even hold that down. So I would end up getting so sick and dehydrated. I would end up going to the hospital. They put the IV in me with Zofran, and then when I had the Zofran, I went through the IV and the magnesium and all the fluids. I was able to eat a little something, not too much. And when I would be able to eat, I would always take care of myself. I wouldn't eat crap. But as I reached my second trimester of my pregnancy, I did get better. I did get better, but I was still sick. I was still able to eat a little more. I started getting little cravings. I would crave barbecue chips, and then yeah, I would crave the barbecue Lays. And then I ended up having my baby shower at 8 months because I didn't know the baby's gender for a while. And I didn't want to know. But Tony's sister, my sister-in-law, she threw a gender reveal for me. I was so happy. I'm so grateful for her. She's family. Even though I might not be the best family, I'm trying. She is a very nice person, and she did a gender reveal. We did the balloon pop. Tony knew already. Me, I didn't know. I went, this was the knife, right? This was the knife. This was like, let me say, this was the balloon, and I went, bah, and I was like, with the knife, and I tried him, and everyone was like, don't stab him. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I wasn't feeling good. It was really hot. She threw the baby shower outside, and I felt so bad though, like, because I wasn't able to be outside the whole time, but I had to take care of myself regardless. And I got all these gifts from these people that I didn't even know. But if it wasn't for those people, I would not have been as prepared as I thought. I also, with the school I was going to, where I graduated, they threw a baby shower for me. Very small and like a family-oriented school. So I had a lot of stuff. The school gave me a stroller, a car seat, blankets. They gave me diapers. They gave me everything I needed. And more. And I say and more because they didn't have to do that for me. They wanted to do that for me. 3 days after the baby shower, it was August 28th, was the baby shower. It was a sailor ocean theme. I didn't know I was having a boy. 3 days later after my baby shower, I gave birth. I was in labor, and I gave birth. I didn't know I was in labor, to tell you the truth. I didn't know. I had such a hard pregnancy that I was very, like, okay, what's going on with me? It's probably this. Like, I was always in so much pain and discomfort, because I was sick, that I didn't know I was in labor. I thought I was, but I could have been wrong because I was constantly reading on Google and assuming things, but my intuition, I believe, told me that, and I trusted it. So what happened was, I was in labor that whole day before, and that whole night. I kept waking up moaning. I never moaned. I was like, like moving. It was horrible. I was throwing up. TMI. I had no diarrhea. I was just throwing up again, like during the first trimester. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to go to the hospital probably. But I didn't want to go. Tony said, you should go to the hospital. And then I was like, no, I don't want to go, but maybe later if it gets worse. It was like 9 or 10 o'clock that night. And then I didn't want to go because most of my damn pregnancy, I was in the hospital. Like, that was my home almost. If I was going to be in pain and they're not helping me there, I might as well be in my own home, I thought, which wasn't a good choice. I was in labor the whole night trying to sleep, and it was horrible, having contractions, and I didn't know. It was painful though. And I woke up at like 6 in the morning trying to wake Tony up. He didn't want to wake up though because he stayed up all night playing video games. Anyways, I said, it's time. Like, I jumped up and my intuition told me it's time. And I knew I was having the baby. I don't know how. I know it was happening. No, it was my intuition, I believe. And he didn't want to get up. And I was like, okay, if you don't get up, I'm calling the ambulance. So what I did was, I said, get up, I'm calling the ambulance if you don't get up. And then he got up after I called. So I was like, oh my God, he told me not to go. Anyways, he's an EMT, so he didn't want me to call unless it was an emergency. Damn, I was in labor, it was an emergency. So, it's funny because the guy, when they had me in there, I was in labor. Tony didn't end up going. He wasn't ready to go. And, I told him, please come, because he didn't want to come. And then, I think he was going to go later on, but I don't think he was going to come till like later on after he slept. Because, like I said, I was in the hospital so much, he thought it was just another pregnancy, thing, nothing important. But, anyways, I ended up going. The guy in the ambulance was so nice. The paramedic, I believe he was back there. He was so nice. I was like, every time I had that pain, that contraction, I was like, and he's like, you want my hand? And I looked at him and I held his. I was like, thank you. It's like, and he was, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry. It was so awkward though, and he checked me, and then my mucus plug released, and then I was like, oh, okay. That's how I knew I wasn't in labor. Is when he checked me down there and was like, make sure the baby's not coming. That's what. And then I saw my mucus plug. Sorry. It's very emotional. And he was very nice and supportive to me. But when he left, I was there alone. And when I was there, everyone kind of knew. I was like, I can't sit down. Like, I felt the baby, like his head. He was in second part of my labor. Like, I knew his head was coming out of my cervix. I was dilated. Eventually I was able to lay down, and they prepared the bed, you know. I got there at 6:20. My water broke at 6:21. At 6, I got there at 6:21. My water broke at 6:25. No one was telling me anything. None of the nurses. She checked me. I had to ask her, first off. I had to ask her, like, am I dilated? Like, she just kind of did it and then was like, looked and looks. And then they were waiting for the doctor. They called the doctor. The doctor came. But I gave birth by the time we got there. No one was telling me anything. I had to ask. And I asked her when she checked me. I was dilated 10 centimeters. And then I was like, am I dilated? And I was all like, well, what's going to happen next? And then my water broke right after she checked for me. Checked how many centimeters I was dilated. Then she went to look at the contractions on the computer. And right when she was taking right when she was going to step away, my water popped. I was like, oh my God, I think my water pipe broke, I told her. And she was all like, she checked and looked, and I was like, oh, can I start pushing now? Because I didn't know what was going on. I was barely going to start taking birthing classes like 2 days after that. Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't sure, but I was prepared. I think, in some ways. Physically, I would breathe. I would kind of, I would breathe and meditate and focus on that when I was pregnant. And I asked if I could start pushing, and she looked at me, she's like, yeah. I was all like, okay. And then I started pushing, and then one of the other nurses came in to assist her and to watch, and I had him by 6:35. The doctor was running in there, and he was like, "Oh, what? I missed it!" And he was that fast. And he was checking on the baby and me and making sure, everything was okay. And then, yeah, I didn't even get to hold my baby. When I first saw him, he came out. I was so in shock. I was like, I wanted my baby, but they had him laying there real quick and checking him, make sure he was okay. And they took him really fast because, his breathing, he was 6 weeks early. His breathing, they was checking for his breathing, his pulse, make sure he was okay. They kept him in umbilical cord and took him upstairs and finished working on me. I just wanted to hold my baby. I remember that. And I didn't ask too much. I was just kind of out of it. I was like, okay, they had to take him. I was all like, I know he's early. I didn't ask too much. I was like, where's my baby? I asked them. They were like, oh, he's upstairs. They're monitoring him as much as they can. I was like, God. So they came in there with paperwork a few minutes later saying they were transferring him to RMC in Fresno to the NQ because Madera, they don't have NQ or anything like that. I was so a little disappointed when they brought my baby back. I saw him in this container, and he was he had oxygen, all this stuff on him, and I couldn't be with him. They let me hold him before he left. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know how to feel at the time. I just felt bad. I remember thinking, I felt guilty. I just would smile on him because I didn't know what to do. I just told him it was going to be alright and Mommy was going to be there as soon as she can. And I loved him. As soon as I got released to the hospital, I wanted to go see him. I ended up going to see him, I think that night after I got released. I went home and took care of myself. And I went to go see him as much as I could. I was just a little disappointed with the Madera Hospital. It was so hard for me to get out there sometimes. I was calling everyone I knew that, could take me out there. Everyone took care of me and my son when I needed it. When I first saw him in the box, I didn't know what to feel. I just felt so bad. I felt, how could my baby feel with all this on him? How does he feel? He should still be in my belly. And when that happened, I did some skin-to-skin contact when I went over there. I tried breastfeeding him, and I wasn't able to, but I talked to the people there about breastfeeding and pumping, and I was there as much as I could, and he was with his dad too. We switched on, and I ended up having to leave, and then I ended up coming, and I went the next day, but that night, no, that's a lie. I ended up going, the next day, in the evening again, and they transferred him to a lower level because he was getting better so fast. And I went down there again. When I would say baby and he heard me walking up, he reacted because he knows my voice. He knew my voice. Be there for hours, just holding my baby, breastfeeding him, trying to get him to suck because his his rooting, I believe it's rooting reflex. Quote me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. It wasn't fully developed yet, and so I was trying to, teach him how to suck on the bottle and supporting him as much as I can, and helping, trying to, encourage that development. He wasn't able to necessarily suck right away and eat the food from the bottle or my breast. He wasn't getting that down real quick at first. He was getting fed through a tube. He kept losing weight, and then which is normal. He kept losing weight. He was 5 pounds, 5 ounces when he was born. He went down to 4.9, I think. And he gained it back. He weighed 5.9 when he left 2 weeks later. I was there all day. As one or two, three, a few days I remember I wasn't always able to go, and I would cry, but he developed so fast. And I believe it's because I was there as much as I could be, and he felt my love, my support and presence. And it was so sad though, seeing all those babies. Some of those babies their parents wouldn't come visit them. Some of those babies were drug babies. Some of those babies' parents possibly could have died. You don't know. And so sad, so sad. He got out 2 weeks later. He was supposed to be in there at least a month, I remember. He came out healthy. 10 toes, 10 fingers. Very smart. He is now 15 months, and he is tall. He's where he should be. His cognitive development, he's where he should be, and a little more, I believe. He's starting to pretend play a little bit, which is really high for his development at where he's at. I don't know if he's pretend playing or what that is, but from what I'm observing, that's what I'm seeing. With the phone, what he'll do is he'll grab my phone, he'll be like, and he sees me talking to his dad or someone, and he'll put up to his ear and go da 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 da. I'm like, what are you doing? And he knows no one's talking to him. He knows out there, and he's so sweet. And he'll also he'll try and talk back to me a little bit. But I'm gonna stop right there, and that's just part of my pregnancy video. And if you guys think I don't know, let me know down below in the comments how I did in telling my story, and what I could do to improve my storytelling and my video editing. Thank you guys. Like and subscribe and support this. I'm now 20 years old, by the way. He was born when I was 18. I'm now a college student, and alright, bye.